This is one of the most unfortunate stories you would ever hear. Two brothers lose their life on the day of their auntie's funeral, not long after they lost their both parents in an accident. And it was also said they had lost their sister the year before. This is such a painful, sad, annoying story. And one of those stories that will make you wonder, is there such a thing as generational curse? Now, according to the story, on the 20th of September 2024, an Auchi Polytechnic lecturer was said to have gone for his auntie's funeral in Edo State. Rashid Brahima was said to be present at his auntie's funeral, part of which he helped funded. And while he was there, he got a phone call from his younger brother, Omo. And it was believed that Omo had told Rashid to come meet him at a place for them to talk, that he wanted to show Rashid something. While the burial was going on, Rashid excused himself not far from the burial ground to go and see his younger brother, Omo. So in my mind, I'm assuming maybe Omo was also acting as though he was coming for the funeral and may have pretended to have gotten lost. But it may have been one of those things where Omo was like, Rashid, please come, I want to show you something so important. And with nothing in his mind, Rashid decided to go and see his younger brother. Now, a little backstory. Omo is a twin. He had a twin brother named Odion. And at the time of this incident, it is believed that Odion was still in Europe, somewhere in Italy, and may have been arrested and put in prison for a crime he may have committed. So, that aside, Rashid, during their auntie's funeral, excused himself to go and see Omo, who had called him, and when he went there, it was said they engaged in a little scuffle, and somewhere along the line, instantly, not long after they had seen each other at the spot where Omo had invited his brother to, Rashid was shot and killed by Omo, who then ran away. But people saw it, and words got out quickly, and instantly the youths in the community ran after Omo. He was caught and dragged back to where he had killed his brother Rashid. And it was right there Omo was beaten to death, instantly joining his brother who he had just killed on the day of their auntie's funeral. Now, the biggest question was why? Why did Omo lure his older brother to kill him at a bush during their auntie's funeral? What was it about? Many people who were close to the family had spoken up. The narrative or the story behind it, the account that many people who knew these people were giving are somewhat different, but there is a link to all of it. It feels to me they're all the same story, but the blogs are making it look like it's different accounts. It's the same thing. And from what we got, it was said that Omo and his twin brother Odion had both traveled out for greener pastures. It was said that Omo went to Libya while Odion went to Italy. But unfortunately, while Odion was in Italy, he got himself mixed up in some situation, which got him locked up in Italy. Omo, who was in Libya, returned to Nigeria after a while and learning of his brother's arrest in Italy. And when he came to Nigeria, he went to meet their oldest brother, Rashid, who was a lecturer at Auchi Polytechnic, and urged him to do something to get Odion out from prison in Italy. It's not clear what he wanted Rashid to do, because personally, I could not imagine what magic an Auchi Polytechnic lecturer would have to get his brother who had committed a crime in Italy. Like, I don't understand why Omo would have been putting so much pressure on his brother to get his other twin brother, Odion, out from Italy. Like, I didn't get it. But it is believable and understandable that maybe money would have played a role in it, because it could have been that the thing Omo wanted Rashid to do was to send money so that they could bail Odion out from the prison in Italy. And this is where the scuffle began, because aside that, sources also said that Omo and Rashid were fighting over properties, over lands that their late parents had left for them. It is believed that while Omo was in Libya and Odion was in Italy, Rashid, who was still in Nigeria, sold their family land, one that was meant for all the siblings, and kept the money to himself. So when Omo came back, Omo went to reach out to Rashid for his court. And it was said that Rashid gave him some money, but the money did not tally with what was expected from the sales of the land. It was said that Omo was not satisfied with the money he got. He believed he should have gotten more. And he also believed that his brother's court was involved too, and maybe they could use it to bail him out from the prison that he was at in Italy. Although another narrative claimed that Omo was the one forcing Rashid to sell more land so they could use that money to bail Odion from jail in Italy and bring him back to Nigeria. But I don't think Rashid was having it. I don't think Rashid cared. Rashid was also most likely a family man, and he had his own personal life to deal with. And there were words that the reason why Odion was in prison in Italy was because he may or may not have partook in a murder-killing crime. A crime relating to murder, and that is such a big deal. If Odion had gone to Italy and had been involved in a crime that involved murder, I don't see how Rashid or how much land would have been sold to get him out of that situation. Maybe to get him a lawyer, maybe to get him to, get the best defense. Maybe that was what Omo was trying to do, but it seemed as though Rashid had given up on the brother. I'm assuming it's one of those things where they always knew that Odion might have been a troublesome person or might have been one of those family dynamics where the rogue one ends up getting into a big trouble and then the older ones give up entirely. But Omo did not want to give up on his twin brother because people described Omo as cool, calm, and chill. So I guess when it came to his twin brother, he felt the need to do all he could to get him back to Nigeria or get him out or get him the best defense, whatever the case might be, for Omo. But he couldn't have done it himself because he was at limited capacity. Whatever he went to do in Libya probably wasn't successful. I don't know what people go to do in Libya. I'm assuming he went there. When I hear people go to Libya for greener pasture, I'm confused because it's mostly people who go there for house help or housemaid situation. I don't know many people who go to Libya to become millionaires. So I'm not surprised Omo went there and came back without anything that was sufficient enough to help him do what he needed to do for his brother who was locked up in Italy. So this is the background scuffle between Omo and Rashid. However, this was not the main reason Omo may have killed Rashid, because sources also claimed in their accounts that Omo kept going to a native doctor, and this native doctor kept telling him things that were putting his brother Rashid in the worst light possible. Their problem was already there. So whenever Omo went to this native doctor regarding how to get his twin brother out, the native doctor told him that your older brother Rashid has locked the destiny of their other twin brother, and that was why the twin brother Odion was in prison and Rashid was flourishing. So these were the words the native doctor was putting in the mind of Omo, who is already feuding with his brother over land and sales and money and his inability to do something to bring the other one out of jail. It is also believed that Omo may have gone to meet the native doctor again, or maybe the same time as the first time, finding out the activities regarding the land that Rashid had sold. Because I don't know why he keeps going to this native doctor for these details. Maybe he wanted to get things that only the native doctor could see. Because after Rashid had given him his court, he went to the native doctor to find out more, if he's being cheated or if there was more lie. I don't particularly know what he's going to this native doctor to do. Pretty much, the native doctor told Omo that Rashid, their older brother, had both used their both destinies, that is the twins' destiny, Omo and Odion, for sacrifices. That is why the twins, Omo and Odion, were not thriving, while Rashid himself was thriving, was successful. And I think this native doctor visitation and these words the native doctor sowed in the head of Omo was what got him riled up, was what got him pushed to the point he went to find a gun from only God knows where, called his brother out of the funeral of their auntie, lured him to a bushy area, shot and killed him, and ran away. Unfortunately for him, he was caught by the mob, who brought him back to that same site, beat him up to stupor to the point he also lost his life. Now he and his brother would both be buried along with their auntie. This is death at a funeral, a very tragic way to go. And this is not the first time we've seen stories where people take action based on what their pastor told them or what a native doctor told them. I remember this one story long before we started this channel of a sibling who killed their mother because the pastor, or was it a native doctor, told them that the mother was a witch. And we've seen these times without number. It's weird that somebody who is supposed to be traveled, well, I mean, to be fair, he traveled to Libya. So someone who is well traveled would not be so gullible. I frankly just believe that regardless of whether or not Omo went to meet the native doctor or whether or not the native doctor played a role, Omo seemed like he was fed up. Without the native doctor saying anything, it seemed like Omo is in his own head already had this feeling. Because most times these native doctors will tell you what you want to hear. Maybe they were jealous of their older brother. Maybe their older brother made better decisions, better life choices. Because I don't know why they will make it look like this is just a young man doing his best. And I'm guessing since he was a lecturer in a polytechnic institution, he was doing fairly okay. He wasn't exactly like a millionaire, billionaire kind of. He was just a young man doing well for himself, who had a 9-to-5 job, who had a family. So for a native doctor to tell you that the reason why your brother is thriving in his life or doing well is because he took your destiny and took your twin brother death. People always want to blame other people for their failures in life. If I ever meet somebody who is struggling with life and I tend to find out why that might be, and the next thing they say is, oh, they were cursed, oh, they try to want to attribute it to other things or other people except themselves, you just got to know that these people are the kinds of people that will kill people because they believe they are the ones holding them back from life. And that is such a terrible way to think. I personally, I don't believe anybody has the power to take your destiny. I don't believe so. What people believe so. Somebody can be having a good life and things stop going well for them and they want to go and find out why. And obviously, when you go and meet these native doctors, they will tell you what you want to hear. Because you're coming to meet them to find out what is holding you back. And they want the native doctor is business for them. So they will tell you, it's your grandmother. Oh no, it's your great grandfather. Please, she's the witch. That is why I don't even want to even think about the native doctor. Omo already maybe had his feeling towards his brother, because for what is what, his brother was not going to help get the Odion, the twin, out from Italy. And if you have to think about it, what can he even do? What could he have done exactly? Especially if Odion was actually guilty of murder and that was why he was locked up. What could Rashid have done? Then let's assume the land that was sold and the money given to, because we don't know how much, but what we know is that Omo was not satisfied with it. Could it be another case of greed? Did Rashid actually pay him what he was due to earn from his land? And Rashid was just not satisfied with it because it's not sufficient, because he expected more. We don't know that. At least Rashid gave Omo something from the land, so I'm assuming it's just a case of greed, given out how it ended. It's really a sad story. It's just unfortunate that this happened to these brothers. One is locked up in jail. Their both parents died years before this tragic incident. They had lost their sister. I don't think there's any surviving member of this family. Do they have any sibling or direct sibling left? It seems like they're all gone. Maybe Rashid's children, if he had any, would most likely continue the lineage. I don't know if Omo or Odion have kids. I doubt. But if they did, hopefully they too move the lineage, because the entire family seemed to be wiped out. It's really unfortunate. It's really sad. These are situations that will make people wonder, wow, is this family cursed? Did someone place a curse on them? Did their great-grandfather sell their destiny? Whatever the case might be, this just looks to me as though the siblings made certain choices that had certain, reactions. But you guys let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Turn on notification button so whenever there's a new video, you'll be the first to get notified. Thank you.